that should even be looked at. And I will not apologize for letting people know that there is at least one member and two members of the council suggesting that we look at it at a meeting that no one was able to attend. Okay? As far as Catherine goes, Catherine, I said to you, or you commented, that it didn't bother you, and it shouldn't bother me because it's close to you as well. And I said, yeah, if you walk through the woods and wade through Blind Brook. Okay? You didn't say that you opposed looking at it either, Catherine.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so...
I also had said that the Sotheby's building has a red sign right now, and we talked about how the next couple of, maybe the next year, there's going to be a lot of changes going on in this community. We talked about so many other spaces as well. To say that it was a recommendation, that workshop was not about us making the recommendations. We were there. The only thing that I recommended to the consultant was that cost is definitely going to be a driver.
Well, Catherine, here we have George Pratt saying even here tonight that he wants the consultant to consider looking at that site, okay? And it's a very sensitive issue in my neighborhood, George, and I will not apologize for letting people know that it's been suggested that we look at it, okay? And that's the fact, and that's what I did, okay? And George, I'm not done yet, okay? Because
keep going, keep bringing them on.
I remember a time earlier this year when you proposed that we eliminate construction on Saturdays, okay? And the very next meeting, we had people come out that opposed it, and lo and behold, you were the one who actually then decided that we should take that off the table, okay? And I commend you for being able to change your mind. But what I don't want to have happen here is, if you want to tell me that you're now against considering putting it at Disbro, I would say thank you, and as far as I'm concerned, that would be the end of the story. But what I'm hearing is, you still want to look at it, okay? And the only other person that said anything at that meeting that I can recall on the topic, other than the mayor saying that he was opposed to it, was, I think Councilman Cunningham referred me, in a discreet way. He said, Joe, have you seen Christian Miller's report saying that this is a completely infeasible site? And I said, yeah. And, have you seen it, George? If it's a site that's completely not feasible, and if it's a site that is inappropriate for a variety of reasons, not because it's close to me, but because it's close to a lot of other families, then we shouldn't even be considering it, okay? And if your problem is that people are talking about it in a forum that allows them to talk about it because they weren't able to participate in the meeting where you said it, then I guess that's me laying it on you, George, because that's all I can tell you.
No, here's the problem, Joe, that I have with you. Okay, this is a sneak attack. All right, if you feel that strongly, then bring it out. You are not. I did
bring it out, George.
Excuse me. You brought it out in an inappropriate form. The place for this argument is right here on public TV, where we can say what we want. People hear it. If they are not sure what they heard, they can play a tape again. Okay. The whole thing with your little blog thing that's wrong is that there are numerous issues that are brought up that were addressed that night. Let me start over again, okay? Let me try to make this perfectly clear to you, okay? I do not think that Disbro is the preferred site, okay? I think that Disbro has been discussed for 14 years. It has been discussed and rejected. I think we have an obligation to the community, if we are even going to propose a $15 million project, that we're going to have numerous discussions like tonight. We're going to have to give the community a reason other than the fact that you and your neighbors don't like it, okay, next to you, as to why it's not feasible there. Traffic. I would remind you, right, that one of the things that I pointed out as a strong point for keeping it where it is now is there's 5 access and egress points out of the parking lot where the police station is now. That was brought up as one of the issues that we had to look at. There is one road, okay, in and out of that site, right? Another thing that I'll point out to you is that the judiciary brought up that a lot of the people that they service come from the train station. There is an issue on the judiciary's point that we keep it close to the train station. I would point out to you that in response to that comment, I said maybe we look at investigating putting it in the parking lot where the MTA is, particularly the property that we own at the end of the parking lot. And if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you pointed out that maybe if we're going to consider doing that, we should look at maybe a cost-sharing thing with either with the MTA, that they have a police, or I forget whether it was you or somebody else mentioned maybe the New York State Police, who have a substation in New Rochelle, would look at that. So there was a dialogue, all right? And your little blog doesn't take into account that the idea that was put out that you reject doesn't give any credit for that. I also put out the Biltmore, which one of your responders put out, that numerous council people bought into the idea that this was going to be a long and difficult process, and we were going to have to eliminate numerous different possible sites other than, we can't just default. You just don't go to this community and say, hey, we're going to build a new police station and we're going to spend $15 million bucks and we're going to build it across the street from the one that's right there. Because people are going to ask, well, how did you come to that decision? And your blog, okay, did a great job defending your neighborhood, all right? And I commend you on that. And I commend you bringing it to your neighbor's attention from that perspective. But the way that you did it, okay, don't sit there and blame me, okay, that a publicly noticed meeting, okay, wasn't on the website, okay, and then I went to a workshop and no one else was there other than you.
George, I'm not blaming you for anything. I think what I said was, at the meeting, it was proposed by you that it be considered. I said, with all due respect to George, I disagree with him, and here's why. If you have a problem with that, George, I think, if anything, what you maybe are is embarrassed that so many people came out and opposed the idea as being such a bad idea, but so I thought you were actually going to try to change your mind. Apparently, you're not even changing your mind after all of this, okay?
Hey, Joe, listen to me. It's about due diligence, okay, and I am not embarrassed, okay? I am entering my 9th year as an elected official, okay? And I've dealt with numerous people like you before, okay?
Maybe you should be embarrassed then, George, okay?
Why should I be embarrassed because I asked the community to... No,
people like me are people to stand up for my community, George, and have an open mind and try to go about these debates in a way where I'm not a blowhard and where I'm trying to consider all the issues, okay?
Thank you for labeling me as a blowhard, but can I
Anything I'm talking about you, maybe the truth is.
I'm going to interrupt for a second.
What's your defense in the Rye Art Center?
Let me interrupt for a second.
My defense on the Rye Art Center, George, tell me what I should defend.
You say in writing that you only threw it out as an arbitrary idea. That's not the way it rings across. That's not how the people heard.
I have the floor. Both of you cast personal sort of insults, and which is not a good thing. I guess what I would say is the context of the discussion that we had that evening was the point that George made a moment ago, which is we are going to be asked to justify why we didn't do all these other places that the community is aware of, why we didn't do a building on vacant land.